A grand cosmic spectacle, the passing comet, was soon anticipated on Earth, visible to the naked eye. In honor of this, the American embassy in Berlin even organized a party. The comet's discoverer, Professor Gregor Starndorf, and his daughter Anna, upon arriving at the party, secluded themselves on the balcony, delighted to witness this extraordinary event. The professor urged Anna to take Hinze's place in the research group, as his assistant Hinze lacked the necessary courage, causing him to often miss important details. Tom Parker, the embassy's security chief, recognized the professor when he entered the balcony and asked him and Anna to return to the hall. Suddenly, the professor received a phone call and hurriedly left the building. Parker called his wife to declare his love once again and wished his daughter good night. Meanwhile, at the Institute of Space Research, the professor was informed that their calculations were incorrect. The comet would fly along a different trajectory that evening. Anna recalculated the course and realized that the comet would strike the Earth within an hour. The scientists alerted the military. Colonel Preston requested more details on the expected impact. Hinze predicted a strike similar to the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. The colonel ordered the use of a new weapon against the comet, a microwave satellite orbiting Earth. Despite Hinze's objections, the satellite fired. However, its beam only sliced the comet into pieces. Meanwhile, Parker asked his wife to gather their belongings and daughter, as it was better to be far from Europe, where the impact was expected. They drove to a military airport from where the country's leaders were being evacuated. When the first fragment hit the planet's surface, Parker asked his wife to wait for their turn to board the plane while he supervised the boarding process. At this moment, Anna arrived, worried about her father's absence. She was assured that he would be on the next flight. Parker escorted Anna to the cabin, and just then the colonel ordered the plane to take off. Parker attempted to leave the plane, but boarding had ended, and the colonel, at gunpoint, ordered him to sit down. Parker disarmed the colonel, but other guards came to his aid and knocked him out. The plane took off, leaving Parker's wife and daughter behind in Berlin. 3 years after the catastrophe, the planet entered a new ice age. Enveloped in ice and snow, Europe became a dead zone, and life was possible only in areas closer to the equator. One day, in Tangier, Morocco, where the new United Northern States were established, the military received information that the microwave satellite was operational again, but access to it remained in Berlin. This indicated that living people had appeared in the Berlin Space Institute who managed to crack the code. A military expedition was immediately sent for reconnaissance, but their plane was destroyed by a microwave laser from the same satellite. Parker, who had left the service and was surviving with his dog Balto, noticed the falling plane, realizing it was no mere accident. At that time, the colonel reported the incident to the president of the new states. The woman was concerned, as the reactivation of the satellite could threaten all remaining aviation. The colonel admitted that the satellite was originally designed as a weapon, not a defense system. Whoever gained access to it could control the entire world. Fearing a terrorist threat, the president of the new states ordered all those who knew anything about the satellite's operation to be gathered. The colonel found Anna in Ecuador and asked her to fly to Tangier. Parker also arrived there. They accidentally met on a street in Tangier and recognized each other. Parker admitted that he had tried to reach Berlin 8 times, but it was impossible under the new conditions. Anna also wanted to reach the Space Institute, as her father never came for her, and she knew nothing of his fate. Anna hoped her father was alive. Anna took Parker with her to a meeting with the president and the colonel. The colonel was displeased by the appearance of his former subordinate, who had resigned voluntarily. Parker showed him the black box he had previously discovered from the crashed plane. Parker knew that the satellite had shot down the military expedition and requested to be included in the new expedition. The colonel objected, but the president of the new states enrolled him in the expedition and ordered the satellite control base and the satellite itself to be destroyed. Shortly after, the president announced that scientists had detected the satellite targeting their region, and if a strike followed, the last 4 million people would perish. The plane with the new expedition set off. The pilot flew as low to the ground as possible, hoping to avoid detection by the satellite. Anna confessed to Parker that the leadership of the new states believed her father was alive and that he was now controlling the superweapon. The plane flew over frozen Europe and was attacked by the satellite. However, the team was prepared for this and managed to parachute onto 2 special snowmobiles. After landing, they continued on these snowmobiles. The road was dangerous as earthquakes caused by the comet's impact frequently created fissures that could easily swallow them. Soon, the snowmobiles reached Cologne and entered a bridge over the river. Parker asked them to proceed slowly and cautiously, but the colonel ordered them to speed up. As a result, the colonel's vehicle ended up directly on a growing ice ridge. Parker stopped his vehicle and, risking his life, reached the snowmobile hanging on the ice block. He extended a cable, which the people used to save themselves. Parker himself helped Anna out and was the last to leave the fallen vehicle. The group continued on the remaining snowmobile, but soon there was an accident, and while the technicians were repairing it, Parker and Anna explored the surrounding houses. On the door of one house, they found a plea for help, but upon entering, they discovered only a long frozen family. After fixing the snowmobile, they continued their journey and reached a Berlin entirely covered in snow. Anna charted the path to the institute, but the colonel decided to reach it on foot so as not to risk the last snowmobile and to have a way to retreat. Parker and Sarah set out on reconnaissance and stopped on the roof of the Reichstag, but were suddenly fired upon. They immediately returned to the snowmobile, but saw it explode. However, the colonel made contact. It turned out that the people had managed to leave the vehicle. The military tried to determine the enemy's location. When Anna found a tunnel underground, the group descended and entered the Berlin subway, where they encountered a little girl. The child was frightened, but Parker, with the help of his dog Balto and some chocolate, won her trust. The girl led the group to survivors who had taken refuge underground. Along the way, they passed through a hall filled with photographs of those who perished in the disaster, surprising everyone, as it was believed Europe was completely extinct. The survivors told the expedition that they had been helped by a professor who was stationed at the Reichstag and showed them the way to him. The team set off, and the girl, who was an orphan, joined the newcomers. Soon, the team reached their destination and found themselves in a greenhouse under the Reichstag's glass dome. The people searched for the doctor and soon came upon a room overgrown with greenery, where a blind old man sat in the center. Anna recognized her father, and the professor was overjoyed to find his daughter alive and welcomed the military. However, the professor claimed he had nothing to do with the satellite attacks. Upon learning of the satellite's activation, the professor immediately said that it was likely his assistant Hinze who was behind it all. The professor mentioned that the beam could be expanded, leading to changes in weather patterns. Anna quickly realized that if the cloud cover over Earth was targeted, an artificial fire would ignite, causing a climate shift. The professor asked to be taken to the institute immediately. Hinze's men then appeared, holding the group at gunpoint. Their commander demanded they drop their weapons and convinced the professor that all of this was done with the best intentions. At that moment, Parker signaled the girl, who threw a rock at the glass dome. The militants were distracted by the sound of the glass, allowing the colonel's group to take advantage. A shootout ensued, in which the attackers were killed. However, the professor sustained a fatal injury. Anna, horrified, tried to ease his final moments as he persistently asked her to remember something, though he never said what. The man died, and Sarah suggested they hurry before Hinze learned of his group's death. Parker convinced Anna to leave her dead father, and they headed for the Space Institute. Upon entering the subway, they were surrounded by survivors. Upon learning of the doctor's death, they decided that the military had killed him and prepared to execute them. But the leader of the survivors noticed the girl and asked her questions. The child pointed to some of Hinze's men who had blended in with the underground dwellers, and they were quickly dealt with. The colonel's group headed to the institute, and Parker asked the girl and his dog Balto to wait for him there in safety. But as Parker left, the child and the dog silently followed him. Reaching the institute from which the satellite was controlled, the surviving group found a deranged Hinze, who was about to destroy the remaining humanity. Sarah dealt with Hinze, and through video surveillance, The group saw the girl following their trail. Parker went after her. While in the laboratory, Sarah killed Colonel Preston and revealed her true intentions to Anna. She had been sent not to destroy the satellite, but to seize control of it. Parker returned with the girl. He and Anna managed to defeat Sarah together. Anna attempted to reprogram the satellite to change the atmosphere over Europe. The monitor suddenly flickered and a strange message appeared. Invalid login or password. To continue, please confirm your subscription to the channel. Anna, puzzled, looked at the screen, then shrugged. She clicked the subscribe button to save the world. Parker, standing nearby, smirked and said, "Maybe we should subscribe too?" Parker then went to his former home, where he found his deceased family and their farewell letter. Tom and Anna, along with the surviving townspeople, emerged to the surface, and rays of sunlight broke through the parting clouds. Anna had indeed managed to reprogram the satellite. This was the movie post-impact. If you enjoyed this movie recap, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't get lost in the YouTube algorithms. If you'd like me to recap another movie or series, let me know in the comments below this video.